One of the featured stories this Wednesday is the rise of Groupon clones. Our TechCrunch writer Robin Waters points out that we've seen Russian and Chinese versions of the Groupon site essentially taking on their design and business model. But here in the US, there's actually a lot of Groupon-like sites as well, about 66 according to Yipit. Groupon so far, though, is raising the most cash. Since March, the company has sold 3 million coupons, and of course last December they raised 30 million from Excel partners. So how does the company feel now that the competition is heating up? Joining us today is Andrew Mason. He's the CEO of Groupon. Thanks for joining us, Andrew.
Sure, it's my pleasure. I'm glad to be here.
Andrew, is imitation really the sincerest form of flattery here? We've seen a lot of startups come on board and try to take over your business model, try to do what you guys do. So what is your reaction to that, and how do you plan to stay ahead of the curve?
At first, it was definitely really weird, just because my motivation as an entrepreneur and internet person is so different from the type of person that would go and copy something exactly, as we've seen a lot of times with Groupon, where the first couple of times we saw these sites, it was it would be just people copying our exact design, copying all the copy on the website, like to a T, everything that we were doing. When we made changes, a couple of days later, they would make those changes to like even stupid things we were doing. Like we could have run a deal on porn, and there probably would have been 80 other sites that would have run a deal on porn the next day. So it was strange. After a while, you just shut it out and go on doing what you do.
Yeah, there are a lot of startups that are just taking pieces of your business model, but there are some that are just flagrant copies of even your web design. So are you trying to take action against these companies?
You know, I don't want to say at this point what we are or aren't going to do. Like some of them, it's just so much work and such a distraction to try and do anything about it, and they don't really make much of a difference. So we kind of handle it on a case-by-case basis.
You recently raised about 30 million, putting your valuation, according to our numbers, north of about $250 million. How do you scale up with your business model? Do you plan to introduce more deals perhaps? How do you plan to monetize new avenues?
We really like the one deal a day model. The way we think of Groupon is as a city guide where we're exposing people to new interesting things to do in the city. And part of that, part of the fun of it is limiting it to just one deal a day so we can really focus on the best of a city. We'll continue to go into more cities this year. So by the end of 2010, we'll be in over 100 cities. And other than that, it's just super ultra secret world domination plans.
Andrew, do you consider yourself a pioneer? Do you think you're just taking some old ideas and executing really well, or do you see yourself as actually inventing something kind of new here?
I mean, I can't really answer. I'd rather leave that to other people to decide. It's not really my place, or am I interested in answering that question about myself? But I think the fact that it's been copied by 80,000 people probably speaks something to whether it's a new idea or not.
Do you see any interesting trends in terms of how users are evolving with Groupon, how they're using the site, how they're interacting with their social networks? Anything at all, I mean, that you're seeing from your vantage point?
Some interesting things. We see people using Groupon as a travel tool. So when they are going to go to Las Vegas for the weekend, or if they travel to see their family in Seattle, they'll subscribe to the list in another city for a period of time. What else is interesting? Groupon addiction has become a real problem, where we have customers that that buy tons and tons of Groupons. I mean, it's a good thing, good problem, I think.
What has been the biggest surprise since you started Groupon?
How willing people are to try new experiences that they've never tried before when you can nudge them with a once-in-a-lifetime deal. So we've sold everything from LASIK eye surgery Groupons to skydiving to tours of Gary, Indiana. So there's just a huge variety of things that people are willing to go out and try if you offer them a good deal on it.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Andrew. Really appreciate it.
Sure, my pleasure.